Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this week's Eye on the Slack. We're talking with Kyle Knickrehm from Webster University. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Doing well.
We're talking to you today because you recently had a chance to head out to the NCAA Convention out in Washington, D.C. as part of the immersion program that the NCAA offers. Can you tell everyone a little bit about the immersion program? What were your general thoughts, as you headed into convention and what your takeaway was after the week?
Yeah, so the student immersion program, which was ran by the NCAA, is a group of about 40 student athletes or students associated with college athletics at the Division III level. And it was pretty much just a professional development and networking opportunity that Division III gave to student athletes that want to work in athletics. So, first couple of days was a lot more professional development, kind of learning how to be a good leader and working in the college athletics landscape. And then the last couple of days is more so talking about how the NCAA legislation works, how they come up with different ideas, and how they implement different ideas and rules into the NCAA. And then a lot of it was also a lot of really good networking opportunities, and I was able to expand my network in Division III athletics with different athletic directors, presidents, vice presidents, and pretty much everyone associated with athletics.
Yeah, it's really gives you, like you mentioned, a few points there. The network opportunities really kind of gives you some professional training, as far as working in athletics. But then I think one of the neat things is it gives you that behind the scenes look at all the legislative stuff. What were some of the most unexpected realizations or things that caught you by surprise that you learned at convention?
One of the biggest things that I learned was how big Division III athletics really is. At the business session, and even the issues forum that they held, there was about 1,200 people in that room, and I was shocked to actually see how many people and how many different voices go into making Division III athletics happen. So that thing was really cool, and then it also was shocking at how small the athletics world really is. Like I would talk to one athletic director, and he was like, "Oh, this person," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know them too," and it just surprised me how small that the circles really are in college athletics.
Yeah, that's one of the great thing about the athletics that you'll learn is that network that you mentioned, but how everybody knows each other, helps out each other, that exchange of ideas. What was your favorite part of the convention?
My favorite part was definitely just meeting everybody. The group that I had with the student immersion program was a bunch of people throughout the country at Division III schools, and so we got really close overall as a group. So it was really neat to get to know them a little bit, kind of share similar experiences we've had at our Division III institutions. I've had a lot of similar things happen to me at Webster that has also happened to other people at UMass Boston or UMass Dartmouth. So it was really cool to really get to know them and kind of see a bunch of different things that they experience each day. But I also really enjoyed meeting a bunch of different athletic directors and going about what got them into athletic directing, kind of their experience and their path, and a bunch of things they learned along the way, which ultimately helped me with my career in the athletics. And the leadership training that we did was also very beneficial. I haven't really experienced anything like that before, so it was really cool to kind of learn a little bit more about myself and what it takes to be a really good leader in college athletics.
Convention itself ran from Wednesday to Friday, but you were part of the immersion program. Tell everybody a little bit about what your schedule was like, day in, day out, what kind of sessions you went to, when you started, when it wrapped up, some of the activities that you were involved in. So that way, maybe people in the future, can kind of have an idea of what to expect, if they're attending the convention.
Yeah, so the immersion program ran from Tuesday to Friday, and it kind of ended right at the end of the business sessions where all the legislative stuff was passed. So Tuesday, everything kind of started about 2:30. We kind of used the first half of the day as a travel day, so everyone was there by about 1 o'clock. And then we kind of just jumped right into things, you know. The first part was like a welcome, kind of what to expect with the student immersion program, and then we had one of the presidents from University of Hartford come and talk to us about working in college athletics and networking and leadership. So Tuesday was definitely more leadership focused. It was a little bit lighter on our schedule just because it was only half a day and we're still trying to figure out everything on what to expect being the student immersion program. And so, I think our day ended around 8:30 with dinner, which was really good. And then Wednesday and Thursday were definitely our two longest days, but both days started around 7 o'clock in the morning, and ended at about 10:30 at night. So it's definitely long, full days, but it's very beneficial. One of the things that I like the most about this student immersion program is that they put you with a mentor from a different conference or a different school that's not within your conference. So I know Commissioner Holloway was there as a mentor, which is cool. So I got to meet her. But I was paired up with Anthony Azama from WashU. So I got to meet him a little bit, talk with him about his journey in college athletics and what advice he has for me in going into college athletics, which is pretty cool. So we had breakfast with them, all of our mentors, speakers. And then there was a lot of different speakers throughout the day as well. So the first part was a little bit more about networking. We had Will Boggett, who was a really good motivational speaker, coming to talk to us about leadership and networking and how to really get your foot in the door of college athletics. So that was a really cool experience to hear him talk. You know, he worked a bunch of different college football playoffs, so he was able to talk about that a lot, which was really unique and quite the experience too. Um, so that was pretty much like the first morning part of it, and then we were able to do a disc workshop, so kind of learn your behavior styles and how to interact with other people with different behavioral styles. So it was really neat to kind of learn more about myself and how to interact with other people who might have a different behavior style than me, and especially when it comes to leadership, how to apply that to your teams and your staff that you're going to end up building. Um, so that was a big chunk of the day on Wednesday. And then Thursday wasn't as much, talking about leadership or talking about networking or those kind of workshops, but it was more so kind of get into how the NCAA works behind the scenes with the conferences. You know, I was able to attend our conference meeting, which is really cool to see what we kind of value as a conference. And during the issues forum, I was able to talk with a couple of other athletic directors throughout other conferences too, and they were able to tell me kind of what they value, and it's cool to see the similarities and differences between what each conference values and doesn't value. So that was the large part of Thursday, and obviously Friday we had the business session, which took up most of the day Friday, and we were done with that around 12 o'clock. So those of us in the student immersion program that didn't have a early flight were able to kind of walk around to where the hotel was at, and still kind of meet some more athletic directors and just kind of hang out and chill until we had to go for our flights. So it's definitely a full schedule, but it's really beneficial. Like if you have the opportunity to do this, it's something that you should definitely do, just because you get a lot of development from a leadership standpoint and a networking standpoint. You get to meet a ton of people and really grow your network that way. And everyone that I've talked to said the most important thing in athletics when you're trying to get your foot in the door, just network and keep meeting a bunch of people. And there's money in the follow up as well. So keep following up with those people that you meet, keep checking in, and it'll definitely go a long way if athletics is the way that you want to go.
Yeah, so speaking of that, what is it about athletics, after graduation? Why did you want to pursue a career in athletics?
Yeah, so I've always grown up around athletics my whole life. When I was born, my dad took me home and sat me on the couch, and we watched SportsCenter together. Allegedly, so that's what he's always told me. So sports have always been a big part of my life. And I figured if I can't play the sport that I love anymore, I might as well still have a foot in the door. So Coach Bunch was for I was fortunate enough to have Coach Bunch give me an opportunity to be with the basketball team the last 4 years, and I kind of just kept finding my passion again to be in basketball, but also be involved in athletics, so helping out Scott and Mo the last few years as well, just doing a bunch of different things from game management, helping run the regional tournament as well when we hosted that last year. And so I really value seeing how athletics impacts student athletes and how they grow as well. From the time I was a freshman to the time I'm a senior, I was able to see a bunch of different people grow and develop and kind of really find what they want to do with their lives as well. So I think that's probably the most meaningful part in being athletics for me.
Um, for those who may be interested in doing an immersion program in the future, how did you go about applying for the program?
Yeah, so each school chooses two people to apply to it. I was thankful enough for Scott and the rest of our athletic department to choose me to apply for as one of our two to go about it. There's about a 6 question application that you fill out, and a lot of it's kind of why do you want to be in college athletics? What do you think makes a good athletic administrator or coach? A lot of questions like that. So, the more detail you're able to provide for that, the more likely you're going to be accepted into this program. And so once I get that application in, it then goes to a committee that the NCAA has that then chooses through all the applicants. I think this year they had about 125 apply, and they can only choose 40 of them. So it's definitely a very selective group. So the more detail you can provide on those applications, the more likely you're going to be able to go and experience this program. So, I obviously ended up getting chosen, and then from there, the NCAA kind of told me what information they needed, and I was able to go and have a really good time there.
Well, we were glad that you were able to go represent the SLIAC out in the convention, and really kind of get your feet wet and see the behind the scenes and get to meet people. So we're really excited you got that opportunity, that chance to experience that. If you were to give one kind of phrase, one sentence for someone who's thinking about applying for the immersion program or interested in getting more involved with the NCAA, what kind of phrase? What would you tell them? What would you be one sentence recruiting pitch to, hey, get involved?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what Nike says with their slogan, just do it. You know, the first step in going athletics is just do it. Get your foot in there, reach out to these people, connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them on social media. You know, if athletics is truly what you want to do, it's definitely a really good thing to get your foot in the door with. You know, it really provides a lot of different opportunities for you and a lot of different perspectives as well. So, just get your foot in the door with athletics. Go to your athletic director and be like, hey, can I help you out anywhere? Go to your coach too, even to be like, hey, do you need help with anything? You know, learn the operations with your sport. Learn what goes into a game day, the game day management stuff, the behind the scenes stuff, the live stream. You know, just get your foot in the door with that. Just ask, and more likely than not, they're probably going to want some sort of help. So it's definitely just go there and ask if they can help in any way.
Perfect. Well, Kyle, thank you again for chatting and telling everybody a little more about the immersion program. We can't wait to see where your future goes after this. Thank you again.
Thank you.